What's your deepest, darkest fantasy? Is it even possible to have a deep, dark fantasy? It's possible to have a deep fantasy, but I mean, is it possible to have a dark fantasy? I'm gonna say yes because to other people they might think that's a bit of a dark thing to want to happen. But anyway, what's yours? What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Filmy Thoughts. Thank you for taking the time out to watch. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. That would be greatly appreciated. Today's film is going to be on Fantasy Island. This film resonates with me. Well, the title resonates with me because growing up, I used to go to a little soft play area called Fantasy Island. If you're from the ends, you know. Vale Farm areas, yes. And I loved it. So yeah, it was good seeing a film come out. It brought a whole heap of memories back. But let's focus on the film. I liked it. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic. It wasn't rubbish though. It was interesting. Some elements of this film brought me back to the Bone Collector days, the Kiss the Girls days, where you never knew who was the actual culprit until the very end, which I liked. I love those kind of thriller films, and this kind of brought me back to that era. It's very interesting, very interesting. All is not what it seems, and that was the key to this film. All is not what it seems, and even people that thought they wanted that fantasy realized that wasn't actually their fantasy that they wanted. There was other elements within that fantasy that was the real fantasy of what they wanted. And every action has a reaction. There's a repercussion for everything. It's an interesting film. I'd say to watch it, but I wouldn't say it's a must-see. You don't have to go and watch this. I wouldn't say that you had to go and watch it. There was no elements in this film that scared me. There's a couple jumpy moments, if you're faint-hearted, but for the most part, it was pretty straightforward. It made sense. Again, I like the fact that, you know, I was on my toes guessing who was the actual culprit for what was going on. All is definitely not what it seems, and that's something that you need to take into account throughout the whole of this film. Will there be a second one? Possibly there may be a second one, depending on how the first one performs, really. And I'm guessing with this coronavirus madness, it won't perform too well. A lot of empty cinemas at the moment. I feel like it addressed all elements of every film. You know, it had the action, it had the comedy, it had the romance, had the heartbreak, had a heroine moment, and it done pretty well with all of those features within a film. Some funny parts during this film, which I found quite humorous, and yeah, I appreciated what this film was trying to tell you. And what that was, in my humble opinion, was that even in your fantasy, all is not what it seems to be. Different fantasies probably pull at different parts of your brain, right? So if you merge all of them together, you never know what could happen. If you got the time, go and watch it anyway, because as I said, I thought it was thoroughly enjoyable. It was interesting. It was quite intriguing. There was no pitfalls in this film that I could think of. It didn't excite me a big deal, but at the same time, there were some aspects within this film that I appreciated. I don't want to say too much on it. I would just recommend going to watch it. This is a really subdued review. I'm chilled out at the moment. I'm gonna give it straight down the middle, 2.5 out of 5. It's neither here nor there. If you don't see it, you don't see it. If you do see it, hopefully you enjoy it. But that's it from me. So whether it's the morning, the evening, the nighttime, the daytime, or the night, no, I already said nighttime, or the afternoon, take care.